This is MTG Burgeoning, and in this video we are going to update and upgrade our Jenson Carthalion Druid Exile WUBRG Tribal EDH deck. Thank you for joining us for another installment of the Up and Up series. Today it's Jenson Carthalion. It's MTG Burgeoning's WUBRG Tribal deck. All things WUBRG you'll find here in the 99 of this build. We've got a few cards going in and a few cards coming out, but before we start making those swaps, let me take a moment to remind you that in the comment section of this video, you will find Jenson's deck tech, the up to the second deck list, and our video primer series. All right, card number 1 going into the 99 is actually going to wait because card 2 is going to go in first because it's already been spoiled. The first card going into our 99 today, it is Invasion of Alara. Here we have a battle. It is a siege. It has our WUBRG colored mana value of white, blue, black, red, green. It enters with 7 counters on it. And when Invasion of Alara enters the battlefield, we exile cards from the top of our library until we've exiled until we exile 2 non-land cards with mana value 4 or less. We may cast one of those 2 cards without paying its mana cost. We put the other into our hand. Then we put the other cards exiled this way onto the bottom of our library in a random order. So we attach this battle to an opponent. Most likely our opponents are not going to help us to tick down the counters there. So we will send our creatures. We will do the damage that needed to be done to get the 7 counters off of this so that we can have it transform, and then we can cast the sorcery side of Invasion of Alara, which is called Awaken the Maelstrom. And Awaken the Maelstrom is all colors, as it should be. And target player draws 2 cards, which is going to be us. We may put an artifact card from our hand onto the battlefield. Hopefully there will be an artifact in our hand in order to do that. We create a token that's a copy of a permanent we control. Note that that says a permanent we control. It does not say a non-land permanent. So if we have nothing better to do than to just clone one of our lands, Awaken the Maelstrom will allow us to do that. Afterwards, we distribute 3 +1/+1 counters among 1, 2, or 3 creatures we control, and then we destroy target permanent on opponent controls. All of that for just dealing at least 7 damage to the siege side of this card. It fits our theme, it provides resources, it provides us with just removal. Invasion of Alara is going to be one of the best cards in the 99 of this WUBRG deck, and I cannot wait to get it onto the battlefield. With that card going in, it is going to replace, that's card number 2 right here, it is going to replace Prismatic Omen. Now here we had an enchantment that allowed all of our lands to be all basic land types at all times. This helped us to fix our lands, fix our mana, so that we can cast all of our WUBRG spells without being hampered by a color or 2. As this build has evolved, as we have found more and more ways to fix and ramp our mana, we no longer have need for an enchantment that only, and it pains me to say that because when this came out in Shadowmoor, this was absolutely bonkers. But it pains me to say that all Prismatic Omen does is fix our lands. We have enough of that already, so let's take out Prismatic Omen's spot in the 99 with a card for a card like Invasion of Alara that's just going to be so much more impactful, and we could really look at that. We could look at that battle, the Invasion of Alara, being a card that completely tips the game in our favor if it isn't already. All right. Next card going in, card number 2 into the 99 of this Jenson build, and it is Kenrith the Returned King. Now, this is a shout out. We had some we had some comments that say, let's get Kenny into the WUBRG deck. It doesn't have a WUBRG mana value, but it does have all of the WUBRG abilities in the massive block of activated abilities underneath Kenrith's picture. So after some consideration, it seems like it is a very good card to put into a WUBRG deck, and it is WUBRG colored identities. So Zephyr, you get your wish. Kenny is in. We all know about Kenny. It's a 5/5 legendary human noble for 4 and 1 white mana. A red mana gives all creatures trample and haste until end of turn. 1 and a green Puts a +1/+1 counter on a target creature. 2 and a white, target player gains 5 life. 3 and a blue, target player draws a card. And 4 and a black, put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under its owner's control. Note that we can provide each and all of these abilities to our opponents, but why would we? Kenrith is going into the Jenson build, and he is replacing Falaji Wayfarer, a 2/4 human scout for 2 and a green mana. Well, it is all colors. So Falaji Wayfarer is all colors. It doesn't have the WUBRG mana value, but it has a WUBRG color identity. All right, so it can be in any deck where commander color identity includes green. So keep that in mind if you want to put this into something else that's outside of a WUBRG build. Multicolored spells we cast have Convoke. That means that our creatures can help us cast our spells. Each creature we tap while casting a multicolored spell pays for 1 generic mana or 1 mana of the color that creature is. The problems with this card as it pertains to its ability to stack up with what Kenny can bring to the table is that there is no comparison. The fact that Falaji Wayfarer is all colors doesn't really do anything for us, and the multicolored spells that we cast having Convoke, we don't want to tap our creatures to cast other spells. Our WUBRG creatures are monsters. We want them tapping to go into combat, not tapping to cast spells. So it made the Wayfarer here very expendable when we finally got to thinking Kenny deserves a spot in the 99 of this WUBRG build. So let's take out the Wayfarer. All right, MTGBC, we're down to our very last card going in. So we got one more card coming out. And the last card of our video today, it is a Monstrous Vortex. We have an enchantment 3 and a green mana, and whenever we cast a creature spell with power 5 or greater, we discover X, where X is that spell's mana value. To discover X, we exile cards from the top of our library until we exile a non-land card with that mana value or less, and then we cast it without paying its mana value. What we're looking for here are some free spells. Now note, our WUBRG creatures, they're mostly all 5 or above. They almost are all 5 and above. And their mana values are 5. So all we have to do is cast these creatures for 5, and it's very likely that we get another WUBRG creature onto our side of the battlefield. Note that this is not just a once per turn ability of Monstrous Vortex. It is repeatable. We can do this as many times as we have mana, and we have a lot of mana in this deck. So with Monstrous Vortex and its Discover ability going in, it is replacing an enchantment that gave us a Cascade ability that was somewhat limiting. That card is Maelstrom Nexus. Now, with Maelstrom Nexus, it does fit the WUBRG theme of our build, because its mana value is WUBRG. But with Monstrous Vortex, we are shaving 1 mana off of the overall mana value, 20% savings. So we're sacrificing a little bit of our WUBRG-ness as a way in which to help propel the deck's resources. And what Maelstrom Nexus would do for us, the first spell that we cast each turn had Cascade. Now, that's only a one-shot, so we get that one time each turn. Monstrous Vortex allows us to do that more than once each turn. Now, can we cast more than one WUBRG spell on our turn? Absolutely, yes. We have the mana ability to cast 2, 3, maybe sometimes even 4. Yes, we can do that. So we can get more out of Monstrous Vortex from a quote-unquote Cascade/Discovery ability that Maelstrom Nexus gives us. Additionally, when we think about Cascade, we exile cards from the top of our library until we exile a non-land card that costs less. So when we cast one of our WUBRG spells, 5 mana value, with Maelstrom Nexus, we can't cast another WUBRG spell because it has to be less. In this instance, Discover is more powerful than Cascade. In this instance, we get repeatability versus it's only the first spell you cast each turn. I think it's pretty simple to say, In our WUBRG deck, Monstrous Vortex is better than Maelstrom Nexus. But of course, MTGBC, because as you so always do, you'll let me know your thoughts about these changes in the comment section below. This is MTG Burgeoning, your channel for all things Magic.